Good morning, team. Welcome to my class presentation of an overview of our Victorian prisons, both public and private, by Bruce Cunningham. Victorian prisons. Within Victoria, there are a total of 14 prisons and one transition centre. Out of the 15 prisons, 13 of them incarcerate male inmates only, with the remaining 2 incarcerating female inmates. Corrections Victoria oversees the management of all prisoners in Victoria. Corrections Victoria is a business unit of the Department of Justice and Regulations. Overall, it is responsible for the prison management in Victoria for all prisoners in both public and privately run prisons. Corrections Victoria operate and run the following public prisons. They run Barwon Prison, Beechworth Correctional Centre, the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre, Duringal Prison, Hopkins Correctional Centre, the Judy Lazarus Transition Centre, Langi Kalkal Prison, Loddon Prison, Margonique Correctional Centre, the Melbourne Assessment Prison, Metropolitan Remand Centre, and the Tarrengower Prison. There are 3 privately operated prisons in Victoria, and they are run by G4S Security Group and include the Fulham Prison, Port Phillip Prison, Ravenhall Prison. Corrections Victoria hold responsibility for maintaining the humane treatment of all Victorian prisoners, supervising offenders within the community, including maintaining a high level of community safety. Prisons and Corrections Victoria. The role of prisons and corrections in Victoria is to hold people on remand, hold people that are sentenced to a term of imprisonment, maintain appropriate conditions for persons in custody, rehabilitation of prisoners, prepare incarcerated persons for release back into the community, and to work with offenders that are released with correctional orders. The 15 prisons in Victoria all have different categorisations ranging between maximum, medium and minimum. The maximum prisons categorisation is determined by the level of security used by the prison system and usually incarcerates the most dangerous offenders. The medium prison rating, again, refers to the security level used by the prison system and houses those less likely to reoffend and that show control of good behaviour, with the minimum security levels incarcerating inmates that are of low risk. Prison Victoria. The 2 prisons that incarcerate females only are the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre and the Tarrengower Prison. These prisons are both publicly run by Corrections Victoria, and the level of security required by the prison systems are maximum for the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre and minimum for the Tarrengower Prison. The remaining 13 prisons incarcerate male inmates only. The maximum security level, Port Phillip Prison, holds the most prisoners in Victoria, with a total number of incarcerated males being 1,087 prisoners at present, and is one of the busiest prisons in Victoria. The minimum security level, Judy Lazarus Transitional Centre, holds the least amount of incarcerated male inmates at present, which is only 25. This is due to the low risk transitional requirements in preparation for offenders to be released back into the community. Under the Prisoners' Rights. Under the Corrections Act of 1986, all prisoners have rights, which include the right to at least an hour's open air time outside, the right to be provided with adequate food sources for health reasons, the right to have access to medical treatment and care, including dental care. They have the right to practice their religion of choice, and to congregate with others of the same religion. The right to receive at least 1 visitor per week for a duration of half an hour. Prisoners also have the rights to make complaints. Prisoners can make complaints concerning prison management to several corporate bodies, including the Minister for Corrections, Mr. Ben Carroll, the Secretary, the Commissioner, the Governor, the Human Rights Commissioner, the Ombudsman, to an official visitor, or to the Health Services Commissioner. Prisoners also have the right to participate in prison educational programs. They also have privileges to work within the confines of the prison. Prisons and parole. When the court punishes an offender with imprisonment, it reflects upon the indictable offences that they have been found guilty of committing, which are documented and found in the Crimes Act of 1958. The court will then set a minimum and a maximum term. Prisoners then become eligible for parole after serving the minimum term. If granted, parole is intended to supervise the reintegration back into the community, which is determined by the parole board and as to what conditions may be applicable. Sentencing factors. Section 5-2 of the Sentencing Act sets out the factors that must be taken into account when sentencing an adult in Victoria. Some of these factors include the maximum penalty for the offence, current sentencing practices, the nature and gravity of the offence, the offender's culpability, whether the crime was motivated by hatred or prejudice, the impact of the offence on any victim of the offence, the personal circumstances of any victims of the offence, any injury, loss or damage resulting directly from the offence, and whether the offender pleaded guilty to the offence, the offender's previous character, and the presence of any aggravating or mitigating factors. Other sentencing factors: the offender's intention, the consequences of the offence, the use of weapons, any breaches of trust, the offender's history of offending, the offender's response to previous court orders, and whether alcohol or drugs of addiction were present. The 5 aims of sentencing. The 5 aims of the Sentencing Act are put into place to punish offenders, deter offenders and others from similar unacceptable behaviour, rehabilitate offenders to integrate them back into society, to denunciate the offending behaviour to what the community would expect, and to protect communities and society's fundamental values. The 9 levels of sentencing. The penalty scale for imprisonment has 9 levels, ranging from level 9 to level 1. Level 9 equates to a term of incarceration of up to 6 months. An example for this crime would be concealing the birth of a child. Level 8 equates to a term of incarceration of up to 1 year. An example for this crime would be cultivation of a narcotic plant or possession of a drug of dependence, not trafficking. Level 7 equates to a term of incarceration of up to 2 years. An example of this crime would be going equipped to steal. Level 6 equates to a term of incarceration of up to 5 years. An example of this crime would be recklessly causing injury or possession of a drug of dependence for the purpose of trafficking. Level 5 equates to a term of incarceration of up to 10 years. Some examples of this crime would be... Thanks, love.